Everyone, welcome back. This week we'll be continuing on the Wave 2 release. So kicking off with Wendy and Ian.
Thanks very much, Katie. So I've been doing a little bit of homework around the customer service and the Business Central, which was mentioned that last week, I think, Ian, didn't we, that we'd take a look at that this week. So from my perspective, and it's obviously a kind of mile wide and an inch deep, as is most of my understanding around these things. But it's very much about interaction with teams, isn't it? Very much about this kind of communication piece externally and internally. I think from both of those aspects. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think the whole Teams thing, as you know, I was lobbying hard to get Teams integration into marketing, which we discussed last week. And that got put on hold because of COVID, let's be honest, because when COVID hit, the Teams team, development team, were working 24/7 to bring stuff out to help all of us operate in a completely different environment. So, hats off to them. But as you say, threaded through all the workloads in Dynamics and the Power Platform now, Teams is there. And as you say, certainly, I've been looking at what's in Business Central and Teams integration in there to be able to bring up the core business data that's visible in Business Central into Teams is a really good improvement. So, what have you found from Teams then?
Well, I think that I'm looking at looking at Business Central. One of the things that caught my eyes was the top customer requests, actually, because I think that really shows how Microsoft is taking on board and interacting with the consumer to bring what's required. I mean, they've identified Business Central as being the SMB financial package of choice, and also there are some bits of sales in there as well, and I think the idea that they're then asking and responding to the top customer requests for improvements, I think shows that they're really committed to bringing that platform forwards. And I also think, if you think about the fact that we're all working remote, a lot of us are still working remotely here, so the integration of Teams so that you can all get together and have a conversation about what journals need to happen, what's happening with the VAT this year, what are we going to do about the European VAT rules post Brexit, all of that kind of stuff. I think that can only really be enhanced by the integration with Teams and Business Central.
Yeah, no, I agree entirely. I think that collaboration piece, we've used it in sales. So, we've had an opportunity to come together and click the collaborate button, invite the key players in our team on that call, and suddenly you've got, an instant team stood up, which is a bit like the old days. I'll say the old days, early part of this year, we go, right, meet at the coffee machine, guys, grab a coffee, let's sit around the table and talk this one through. It has that same impact, and it's it's a completely different well, it's not a different way of working, but it's a different format to that way of working. Actually, on a complete different note, I had a conversation with Institute directors the other day. A team of us chartered directors get together fortnightly, and one thing they said was that even now some of them are starting to go back to face-to-face meetings. They run Teams because what they like to have is the parallel conversation that can happen in the chat window.
Yes.
And I thought it was fascinating. This isn't to undermine somebody who's speaking, but it's maybe to make comments like, that's a really good point. Could somebody remind me to do that next week, or whatever? So you have this parallel chat going along. And of course, you can record the meeting notes as well. So it was just a complete aside there, but it was something I thought, oh, that's interesting. I like that. Yeah.
I think I can predict the future that actually big AI begins to come in and transcribe, and create notes from that. I think potentially that's what we'll see in the future.
Yeah, no. Well, that's I think that's available. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah.
It's like tomorrow's world, isn't it?
Tomorrow's world. All over again. You might have to explain what you mean by tomorrow's world.
I think I would have to explain what I mean by it. But Google it, kids. Google's your friend. I think to the so if we kind of bring it back to customer service again, then actually that integration piece with Teams there and the Microsoft bot framework, the omni-channel becoming available there, and the fact that you can actually engage in multiple sessions at the same time, really working on productivity and communication there, and making sure that those service agents can actually respond in real time, because most of us are still working remotely, at least some of the time. And so that customer service channel is really important.
Actually, I spotted something the other day, which was amazing, is the ability to translate on the fly in customer service using omnichannel.
Whoa.
So, you go from the situation where if you can get a customer to use a bot, that's as many customers as your bot can handle to naught, in terms of naught people. If you go to the next stage, then it's down to live chat. But if you're operating live chat through whatever channel or through the omni-channel, you're now talking about multiple sessions running at any one time, absolutely, and a good customer service agent should be able to do that.
Yeah.
But also in different languages.
Yes.
That's phenomenal,
Yes.
So that's still a many to one. Yes. What you're trying to avoid is picking that phone up, because then you're absolutely nailed down to a one-to-one, which is not particularly efficient these days. So some exciting stuff going on there, Wendy. Really.
There is, and I think I'm excited about this for the future. I think I'm recognizing that our meeting notes from this will mention something like tomorrow's world, future predictions, all of those things. I don't think we're taking that into the next session, but I think maybe we haven't really exhausted the second wave now. We've got all the insights to speak about next week, which I think is what we intend to do. So I could see our times drawing to a close. So invite Katie back in, and we'll see you all next week.
Before we go, just the point you made about feedback. Do go on to the community channel for Microsoft. They do listen, and you can rate a function you want and try and get it up the list. And literally, the engineers are picking them off the top and doing them. So do go and have a look at that.
Absolutely, it's wonderful. And I think also the feedback for this. Are there subjects you want us to cover? What would you like to hear us riff on the next week? And bring your coffee.
Bring your coffee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wendy.
Ian. Thank you, Wendy. Please subscribe, like, and comment, like Wendy and Ian say. And we'll see you all back next week.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Everyone.